stream. Broadcast the rhythm. Go live, Vegas on the screen, feeling the flow, so pristine. Boom, as the beats align, electric dreams, they intertwine. Neon dreams in the digital stream. Lights flash to the sound, surreal extreme. Feel it. In the heart of Vegas, we're living the scene. Go live, we're all on the beam. Watch it, feel it.
Please repeat Nancy's Riot podcast about positivity, being strong, get survival, mental health, helping each other and overcoming life's challenges. Psycho like a lab, I'll risk to be a hurt. Hey. Chasing me is everything to the Lord alone. Hey. I'll let no one chase. I don't win.
Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone's having a great week so far. First, before I say anything else, again, thank you again for, if you're tuning in from wherever you are, for your time tonight and watching me. And there was, first I wanted to wish my godson and nephew, Antonio, a happy birthday. I love you so much. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Two, my homemade recipe sprinkled with love. I just wanted to say thank you so much for my delicious sourdough that you brought over. And to the dopest DJ on TikTok, Illuminati, I just wanted to say you are such a badass at what you do, and I think you are so talented. So, before I move forward, last week I did not get a chance to, if we had any calls, we went over with my guest, Danny Ortiz. And I didn't get to see if there was anybody calling in with anything that they're grateful for me to get your address and send you this grateful journal. So if anybody out there is listening, towards the end, I'll take some calls. And if you want to tell me something you're grateful for, like I said last week, I will personally write a note and mail you this grateful journal from my collection. And, Aaron. Oh my God.
That means I have to come on the microphone.
Yeah,
okay.
You do.
How's it going?
Good. How about you?
Good. How was your week?
It's been busy. There's so many stories I've got. Oh, you know what? First, I got to tell you something. So remember how I talked about kissing your hand and how that was a profound moment for me last month?
Okay, but you have to reiterate to people what that was all about.
Okay. So, like, sometime last month, I was just sitting there working on the podcast, actually, and something in my head just told me to kiss my hand. So I kissed my hand like this, and I wanted to see, I guess, how I felt. That was what that moment was about, and I felt my gentleness. So I was having a conversation with someone, and I was telling them, it was a gentleman, and I said, telling him about the moment because we were having a pretty in-depth conversation. And he tells me, well, I just kissed my hand and I'm not impressed. And it was so funny because he made me laugh on how he said it. But also I told him, I said, well, no, of course not. You're not going to be impressed if you're doing it just like that. And I said, but obviously somebody has to be impressed with your lips, because he had 2 children. He had just finished telling me that, but it was funny. Oh, and then do you remember also how I talked about how you and Raquel, your wife, you guys were just God sent? And how a lot of the things with this podcast, they just came into place organically, and I wasn't pushing anything or anyone. Everything either fell through or it didn't. Anyhow, what's interesting is yesterday, the photographer that was originally going to take, we had discussed him potentially taking the shot. He barely just called me yesterday or returned my message, and it had been over a month.
Wow.
Yeah. People just astonish me sometimes how, I don't know, I guess I've always been somebody that if an opportunity presents itself, even if it's something that I'm not going to do, I'm still going to take the courtesy of telling somebody, hey, I'm just not into it. I don't have time, or whatever it is. So it's just astounding to me how a month later it's very nonchalant. You know?
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. But anyhow, I thought that maybe we could spend the next hour because, as you know, today has been a year.
A year from
since
what?
Trump was inaugurated.
Oh, 1 year today?
Yeah. And I wish I could sit here and tell everybody, God, we are doing so great. We have such an incredible president. Because had he been incredible the last time, I could admit to it. Because if he's successful, we as a nation are successful. And
I don't know. I feel like everybody wants to fight with us now.
Everybody does, because he's a bully. And it's kind of sad because I wish I was saying good things about him. And I remember last year on my Facebook, I posted on there that I shut off my cable on the 19th because I wasn't going to pay to watch Cruelty. And we're watching exactly that. Cruelty, chaos, and destruction. And I normally don't listen to him when he goes in front of a camera because all he does is just stroke his ego and talk about how great he is. But I figured I would talk and tell you about how great I am.
I think you're great.
I am great. I don't need you to tell me I'm great, Aaron. I just know I'm great. Well, I am so great that I brought things to show you just how great I am. So you know that picture?
Where's this going?
Oh my God, because I'm so great, Aaron. And I appreciate you telling me that I'm great, but like I know I'm great. Remember that award that I'm holding in that picture in the video that you made? This is the award.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm so great. Oh my God, look at this award, you guys. Look how great it is. That's because I'm great. And that's not all. I brought more to show you, Aaron. And I didn't have enough room of all the stuff to bring of how great I am. But you know the bracelet too?
Yes.
Look. I brought the bracelet.
A little lower on the camera. There we go.
Yeah, you see, you guys?
Look at that.
Oh my God, I'm so great. Oh my God, I'm so excited to tell you about how great I am. Oh, Aaron. And look. I'm in this book too.
What book is that?
Las Vegas Latino Leaders. And I'm in good company too. You should see the people in here. Yeah, because I'm so great. That's why I'm in there.
You sound like somebody.
Who?
Somebody I just saw on TV today.
No way. No, it's just me telling you how great I am.
What else?
And you're
what else
so
you got?
nice because you put up with me and you listening to me how great I am. And I didn't bring everything that he gave me, but McCarran Airport is named after a former senator. I think anybody from Nevada knows who Senator Reed is. Harry International Airport. Oh, and guess what? He signed it.
No.
Yes. Oh. And it also came in this really cool bag. I think you've seen it. It's like over there on the couch. And what was in that bag that he gifted me is even cooler. Maybe I'll bring it some other time to show it off. Just because I want you guys to know how great I am.
You sound a little ridiculous. I'm sorry.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? I sound ridiculous?
Yeah.
talking about how great I am, but I'm great.
I'm sorry, but
everybody should know how great I am.
Is there a point to this?
Yeah, there is actually.
Today,
okay. I normally don't have time.
You threw me off.
I know, right? But I appreciate you thinking I'm great. Thank you for your kind words.
You're welcome.
No, I was being a smartass because normally I don't get to watch him do any press briefings. Well, one, I don't really care to listen to him because all I hear is lies, gaslighting, deflection. It's just an abuser speaking. But today I actually, let's see. Oh, my phone's right here. I took the time to screen record him because I shut off my cable, like I said, so I watch everything on like TikTok or online, the news or whatnot. Because honestly, America, there's no need for you guys to pay for cable. You can do everything online as long as you have Wi-Fi.
And it's expensive.
It is. And you know what? I got an antenna. And yeah, it goes out every now and then, but it's been kind of nice not watching TV. And why am I going to... I honestly hardly ever watched it, but to me, it's like I rarely even watch my Netflix that I pay for. And I just feel that in order to hurt the people at the top, the only way that they listen is with money. And that's to hit them with it where it hurts. But the other thing, too, that's sad, that a year ago... For one, I never in my wildest dream thought that we would be where we are today in America. This is definitely not the American dream. This is the American nightmare. Unless you have a lot of money and you don't care about humanity, which is fine. Just say that you don't care what's going on to the world and that all you care about is yourself. And to me, I can respect people that can be honest that way. It's interesting because before he was inaugurated, she might be watching on my Facebook, I remember she was looking at my stories and this individual, she's commented in the last couple of weeks when I've gone live to stop it because I'm stating facts about Trump. And I hate calling him Trump because I don't think he deserves to even be called by name. But because I do have some decency, I could still put what I think of him apart when I'm speaking to you guys in order to not insult anybody listening. But she had said to me from my story, she didn't like what I had posted. And she said, stop it already. And I told her, it's my page and I'll post whatever I want. If you don't like what I'm posting, unfriend me or just don't look at my stories. Anyhow, she did it a second time. And she said, just give him a chance. And that just sounded so ridiculous to me when we had already given him a chance the first time and he screwed it up. We know how he handled COVID, the economy. And again, unless you're rich, he does benefit you. So I understand why you would support him. But it was mind-boggling to me that it would be like me telling anyone whose brain is even remotely functioning, I didn't learn my lesson the first time around after brain surgery and asking my neurosurgeon to do brain surgery again. That's how ridiculous it sounded to me when she said, give him a second chance. But what I didn't expect a year later, and so quickly, is that now I'm having to carry my passport. Because sadly, we are in that situation where we have to, it doesn't matter if you have a criminal background, not legal, if you did it the right way, the wrong way, it just doesn't matter anymore. We all need to be concerned. And if you're not, I hope that if you get confronted with reality, that you don't need this. But I can tell you right now, as somebody who has responded to fires, hurricanes, shootings, you name it, most people aren't calm. And if you prepare before catastrophe happens, such as having your passport, unfortunately, that is our reality if you live in America, that I'm having to carry this, and I never thought I'd have to. But unfortunately, we are where we are a year later.
It's like the 1930s again.
Yeah, and it's when I was listening to him, all he did was It was lie after lie and just stroking his ego the entire time. And then
We'll say allegedly. This is allegedly.
allegedly, yeah.
Right.
Allegedly.
And a lot of this is your opinion, right?
Yes, it is my opinion from watching his behavior, and it's just it's mind-boggling to me how people can support it. And you know, if people took the time to contradict facts, I wonder what they would find if they actually did research to find the truth. Because I know that what I come across a lot, and it's MAGA, not Republicans, because there's a difference, is MAGA deflects, or they change the subject, or like I said, deflect of the actual facts. You know, and that's constant, especially on my Facebook. Like, even if I can provide them footage, but usually most of them run when you give them the facts and you stand your ground. So it's just, it's interesting. But I did something that I wanted to touch on more this week. And I kind of just wanted to let you do that with Aaron, because I just want you guys to see how ridiculous I sound and look, telling you guys how great I am. And I'm not even the president. But me listening to him today as an American, it is so embarrassing that that's who represents our nation. And I think that we've come to a point where he's so immoral, and you can't excuse anything that he does, that really at this point, it says more about someone's character.
No, it is not true.
You know, when he's clearly telling us everything, I don't know, it's just, I get it, but at the same time, like I said, it's difficult to wrap my mind around that there's still people that can support that because of the cruelty. And when I hear kids, you know, that get home from school and their parents are missing.
Thank you for the gifts, by the way.
Which gifts?
Somebody sent you a gift.
Oh, they did?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Well, if whoever sent me the gift, if you could call and... Oh, by the way, can I tell them the numbers
Do you want me to
now?
put the number up? Okay, sure,
So
we
if
can do
somebody
that.
does want to call, because I do. If somebody has something that they're grateful for, and tell me, I'm going to send you this grateful journal with a personalized note by me. Can you see it? Okay. There? Okay, that camera, right? So I'm going to send it to you guys. It's really pretty. So, and if you don't know what I'm talking about with the gratitude journal or the grateful journal, if you watch the first episode, you could see it. But, oh, and you know what else? Remember how I said last week that I was going to start reading the Constitution?
Yes.
I am going to start doing that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to record myself and do it one by one. So then that way people have a reference. They could just go and listen to the videos for the different articles and whatnot.
Well, that's a great idea.
Amendments. Yeah, so I figured that's what I would do, and I'll just start like a series of like...
We have a creator and a network, Attorney Di. I'd like to get her involved maybe on one of your episodes. And she could go through the documents with you and actually explain to you like each one if you wanted to, or help you understand it. Let me know.
Yeah, that's actually a great idea, because I'm sure I'll come across questions that, you know, that might stumble me, and if she can clarify some things, that would be awesome, because then anybody that doesn't understand it or needs a better understanding, they can. But I figured that's what I would do with the hour that I have. Or not instead of using the hour to read it, I'm just going to record myself individually reading them. But yes, if you can make that happen, that would be great. I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll set that up.
Thank you. And last week I touched on about how we're in an abusive relationship with this president, whether you voted for it or not. And I gave you guys examples of the four horsemen, and you can Google this again. This is Gottman's theory about a relationship, and I just want to show you guys the contrast and their anecdotes, so you could hear how if you're in a relationship with somebody, how this might apply to you. But I also want you to think of it of who our leader is and how he uses these tactics to manipulate, in my opinion, his base or the people who believe in him. So last week I spoke about criticism. There's four. It's called the four horsemen of the apocalypse in a relationship, and the four are criticism, which is verbally attacking personality or character. Aaron, would you say he does that, in your opinion?
In my opinion, yes.
Okay. So if you're in a relationship, an antidote and how you can handle it with a gentle startup, and if he was a gentle person, talk about I feeling statements and a positive need, like in order for I not to do these things, become a better communicator, like just taking accountability, which I've never heard him take any accountability. Have you?
Never.
Never. Yeah, okay. I never have.
It's always somebody else's problem or fault.
It is. And if somebody's listening, if you can tell me something that he's taken full accountability for, by all means, I'd like to listen. Number 2, contempt. Attacking sense of self with an insult or abuse. Have you ever seen him do anything other than that when he does it, when he's asked a question that he doesn't like, a statement?
Oh, he usually mumbles and then goes in a weird direction and doesn't answer the question.
Or he gives you the middle finger.
I saw a news report of him doing that, I think in Detroit or something.
Yes, at a plant. It was just like last week. And then just today when I was watching him do his press conference, he said SOB.
No.
I know. Imagine that.
He's also sworn like with the F word on camera too.
Oh yeah. I mean, calling women piggy.
Very presidential.
I know. It's now the antidote. If you were in a relationship, so it's to build culture of appreciation. Instead of attacking the individual, you would start with reminding yourself of your partner's positive qualities and find gratitude for positive actions. And I know from my experience watching him now in his second term, all he does is he's an ungrateful SOB and such a negative SOB with everything, unless you're stroking his ego or you have your lips sewn to his backside. He's not giving you any positive affirmations. And then we go to defensiveness, which is victimizing yourself to ward off a perceived attack and reverse the blame. Again, it comes down to accountability. Aaron, have you ever heard him take accountability for anything that
In my opinion, no.
No. Me either. And if anybody listening, if you can tell me where he's taken accountability for anything that's gone wrong or that he's done wrong in this, since he's in his first term, the second term, by all means, I want to hear it, because all I know is I hear him attack. Again, if it doesn't suit him. And if you were in a relationship, you take responsibility. You accept your partner's perspective and offer an apology for any wrongdoing. So, again, I've never heard him take accountability. He's always defensive.
That just seems normal to me.
Normal people would normally behave this way. But sadly, we're not dealing with normal. I mean, a year and I'm carrying my passport. And I know I'm not the only one. I talk to a lot of other people that feel in this, that are in the same boat. And then we go to stonewalling. That was the fourth. And I honestly would suggest that you guys do your research and read on this, because you're going to learn so much, not just about yourself, but about the other person if you're in a situation that things don't necessarily make sense, but you know they aren't right. And I think so many times we find ourselves in abusive situations in so many different forms. And because we don't know why that person is acting the way they are, we dismiss it or make excuses for bad behavior. I know that I'm somebody who's done that. And now, if I just remove complete emotion out of any situation and look at it logically, it's just, I can't be fooled. And you know what? I've got a story about AI and emotions to tell you guys too. So the last one is stonewalling, which is basically like the silent treatment. Or not basically, it is. And I think we've all dealt with the silent treatment. Do you know what the silent treatment is, Aaron?
Refresh my memory.
Okay, so in the Four Horsemen in the psychology, they call it stonewalling, but it's the same difference. Stonewalling is withdrawing to avoid conflict and convey disapproval, distance, and separation. Some people give you the silent treatment, which is the same thing stonewalling you. They just shut down. They don't communicate. They close down. And do you ever see him again? Like, do you witness the person in the White House today stonewalling people constantly?
In my opinion, yes.
Right? That's all this administration does, is stonewall.
But it's working for them, for everything.
You know why it's working? Because not enough people in Congress and the Senate have backbones. And I wish and I hope that the way that we as Americans move forward in electing our elected officials, and this I mean from a local level all the way up, is if you cannot earn a voter's vote individually and raise enough money by you getting out there and speaking to the voters and actually getting on the ground and getting dirty and finding out what the people are actually needing, I don't think you should be in office. So I think that most people, and this goes on both sides, that get money from large donors, corporations, whatever it might be, I think we need to definitely change that, because it's affecting everyday people. And if you, to me, it just comes down to how much money is enough money. Like, how much cruelty is enough cruelty? How much devastation is enough?
In my opinion, I think what he wants right now is world domination. I think he wants to be the world's richest person. I think he wants to be richer than Elon. I think that's the goal. Money and power.
Yeah, and I think he values power more than anything else. And and it's...
Well, he's what, 80 almost, or going to be 80?
I think he's old. I think he's going to be 80.
So, I mean, he doesn't have a lot of time to accomplish that.
No, and I don't think he's... And I could tell you this from a brain surgery patient. It's interesting because there's somebody that I've been following that he treats dementia patients. And he makes videos or information just on his medical advice or opinion on what he thinks is going on with Trump. And, he's taken those cognitive tests. Or he's bragged about it, or he's the MRIs. And I could tell you right now, as a brain...
How many are you supposed to take?
You know what? I've never had a cognitive test done, and I'm a brain surgery patient. And the only time that they do MRIs, and it's just to make sure that nothing has changed. But even then, it's not yearly anymore. Unless it's an emergency or I'm feeling something that's off, that's when they'll request it. But as a brain surgery patient, what I could tell you is that when I hear him speak and we all clearly watch him fall asleep with people around him, if and how he slurs or his lisp, when I do not get enough sleep or I've overstimulated my brain, you will hear a lisp or sometimes I stutter. And later at night, I usually don't like to have conversations because I know I'm not as sharp. But I could tell you I'm still sharper than him. And the other thing that's amazing to me, and you know what? It's in my bag, but something that I had never actually done or taken the time to analyze it was today. For whatever reason, a quarter fell right in front of me, and I picked it up, and I realized how much of my brain was gone. I've never actually, like, I know it's the size of a quarter, but when you're actually holding it, it puts things into perspective. Oh, and on that note, I wanted to share with you, I think I might have mentioned it to you last week off camera. So I saw my primary care doctor a couple weeks ago now almost, and her and we were talking. One thing that I asked her is if she would come on the show because I would like for her to discuss, and I want to be open with you guys about my medical, and she's a wealth of knowledge, and we were just talking about brain surgery patients and whatnot. But anyhow, she's going to be a guest on the show, and we're going to be talking about what she's going to just go more in depth about my health and whatnot. And if anybody has any questions, you can as well. And one other person who I would like to invite that I've not had the chance to ask yet because I've not seen him this year is my neurosurgeon.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and the reason for him that I think would be interesting to have him on is I've never wanted to know what I went through. I just know it was a 7-hour surgery. But there was something that he said to me when I went to get my staples taken out that have stuck, and the way that he was looking at me. And I figured that I would see if he would come on the show and he would tell me and everybody listening at the same time what went on in that operating room for those 7 hours.
Do you remember anything of it?
No, I planned it how it was going to be put to sleep, and I just remember being rolled. Well, I've never really talked about that day, but I had to be at the hospital, I believe, at 5 a.m. and then they take you into the MRI machine, and you don't find out until the day of if he was going in through the back of my skull or the top. But he did tell me that the back was the safest spot.
So did they cut you open and pull out a piece of skull and?
Yeah. So they did the MRI. Then I remember him coming in, maybe at about 6:30 a.m. And that's when he told me I'm able to go through the back. And he kind of gave me the quick rundown. I don't remember that much. And I just remember at 7 a.m. sharp, I was being rolled into the operating room. In this operating room, have you been inside a football stadium yet?
Yeah, T-Mobile Arena.
Okay. Have you gone into Raider Stadium yet?
No, I know it's bigger, but...
Okay. The best way I could describe what this operating room was like was a mini arena. It was so bright. And there was a table. Oh my gosh, it was tiny. It was probably the size of a school desk.
Is this the bright light that people always talk about? Just kidding.
Well, there was a lot of bright ones, but I honestly, I just know it was very calming, and I didn't expect it to be as calming as it was. But anyhow, I fell asleep, and 7 hours later, I just remember him standing above me, and the first thing he asked was if I could see. Because since he warned me when he woke me up if I was unable to see, that I would be blind for the rest of my life. And I remember him taking out the I don't know. I was asleep.
The IV or?
The IV, yeah, but there was a tube going up my arm. I don't remember exactly what it is, and I didn't ask. But again, if I bring him on, I can ask him. But he pulled it out and then just blood was gushing everywhere.
Oh my.
Yeah, and I just remember I was really happy that I could see and telling him, no, I can see. And that's pretty much all I can remember from that day, to be honest with you.
Now, for those who have not seen the show, they're probably wondering why you had to have brain surgery. So do you want to just reiterate real quick on why you had to have brain surgery?
Yeah, I had a cavernous malformation.
What is that?
So it's like a clot of your veins that intertwine in your brain, and they think it bled out a month after COVID that I had a stroke, but they have to get you in the MRI machine within 24 hours for them to see if it bled out or not. And since it was COVID, I was not put in the MRI machine fast enough. So that's what was done May 25th of 2021. So this year I'm turning 5 is what I joke.
Okay.
5 years old. And they removed a piece of my brain the size of a quarter, like I mentioned. And I have a titanium plate with 16 screws holding the piece of my skull that is the size of an Oreo cookie.
So you can't use a microwave.
No, I can. Well, you know, it's okay on that. Since you just mentioned that, I get asked some of the oddest questions. I've been asked if that piece of my brain is going to grow back. I've been asked if I make metal detectors go off. I do not, for those of you wondering. I've been asked if a magnet will hang on or will stick to the back of my head, and the answer is no, it does not.
And not with the titanium, no.
No, because it's not metal. And then one of the things, it used to make me uncomfortable the first year was when people ask, and they still do, ask to touch my screws.
Do you have any loose ones?
No, but I'll tell you a funny story.
Where's my drum roll?
I did think screws got loose at one point. So the first 3 months I was heavily medicated, so I knew I had brain surgery, obviously, but it wasn't until maybe 4 or 5 months post-surgery. Every time I would move my head from side to side, I'd feel it felt like the plate was moving. So when I went to see my doctor, and I said to him, I think some of the screws got loose. So he asked me to describe to him what I was feeling. So I told him every time I move my head from side to side, I feel it moving, the plate. And he said, no, that's just your scalp going over the...
No.
Yeah, over the titanium. It will become a part of you. You won't even notice it. And now I don't notice it.
So it had to have time to heal then? Or no?
No, you could... No, it's just... It still moves. It's just now the sensation... It's just become a part of me.
Oh,
because,
that's freaky.
Yeah, because I've become accustomed to it. But when I do get asked if they can touch my screws, usually I would look at them and at first
How do you ask somebody that? It's just...
I know, right? And people want to see them. They want to see the scar. And it's... At first, I didn't know how to actually respond, if I'm going to be honest with you. There was a few people, if I knew them, I let them touch it, but most people I would say no. But
it's a
now
little personal, isn't it?
It is. So now I handle it a different manner. Would you like to hear how I do it?
I do.
Well, there's 16 screws, like I mentioned. So now, because it is, I don't know how to answer that, because that's it's personal, asking me to touch my screws. So now what I do is, well, there's 16 screws, and if you want to touch me, it's $1,000 a screw. That'll be $16,000.
Wow.
And there's usually a pause and an uncomfortable giggle that comes with it. And then I say, do you want to move it along, the conversation, or did you still want to touch the screws? And they say, no, we can move it along. And so that's how I handle that now.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah. And let's see.
So you're healed now, right? But you have noticed cognitive or brain functions that are different? Because your brain has to rewire, I guess, right?
Yeah, it does. One thing that I've really become in tuned in the last nearly 5 years is my spirit. Before brain surgery, there's certain things that I would notice and I would dismiss it. And I've become really good, or not really good, I should say. I understand discernment. Before I would make excuses, or I would dismiss things, or not follow my instinct, and now I do, because it's never done me wrong. And let's see. Oh, and by the way, the numbers, let's see if anybody has anything that you want to call and tell me that you're grateful for, so I can send you this journal.
What? You can win something?
Yeah, the journal that I was, or unless you want it.
Do you want to show it again? There we go.
Yeah, there you go. So you could call, if you're in the U.S., 702-329-6947. International, 1-855-502-4321. And if you are in Canada, 587-997-3200. And there was something else. Oh, you know what I was going to...
I threw you off.
How's that?
Asking about your brain.
No, about my brain, yeah, to give everybody the update. No, but... No, it's... what brain surgery has done is... It literally took me losing a piece of me to find all of me. And I'm in such a good place in my life that, no knock on anybody who's married, because I know some people are happily married, but it is very few, if I'm going to be honest with you from my experience in my conversations with individuals. Most people pretend they're happily married. But I've just come to realize that, what's really luxurious? Not worrying about anybody else's feelings. Just doing whatever I want to do when I want to do it.
Do you think that's the problem in today's society? People worry about what other people think, so they can't progress in life?
Yes, because I think a lot of people are not living authentically. And from my experience, I think when even if it's at a grocery store, because I've made friends at a grocery store. I mean, I'll talk to anybody anywhere, but I know that most people, myself included, it's easier to be vulnerable when you think that you're never going to see that person again. Like, just to be completely naked, like your spirit, completely raw. And I think because we're all just so scared of judgment, and we do judge. I think it's just human nature that we do. I don't know of anybody who doesn't. But the one thing that I know that for me that I've become more in tune with is my vision it's still good, but it's not as good as it used to be. But everything else has sharpened. And I now realize how my brain protects me because of what I lost, how it's had to rewire how it functions now, how I pick up on micro expressions and how my brain breaks them down. I can pick it up in just so many different formats that it's wild. I can't explain it. It's almost like I can read minds, if that makes any sense.
That's kind of cool.
It is, because I usually know. I don't know. I just, like, if somebody was to call, just the tone on their voice or how they say something, I'll know exactly. I can just describe what they're feeling. I don't know. I can't explain it, but there's things that I see that I wasn't able to see before. And on that note, I wanted to tell you, I don't think I've shared this story with you. So last month I was calling to make an appointment for something, and the lady who answered, her name was Susan. Oh, we have a caller. Okay. Hi. Who is on the air? Did they hang up? Oh, okay. Thank you for calling. You can call back 702-329-6947 if you're in the U.S. International 1-855-502-4321 and Canada 587-997-3200. But what was I saying?
Sorry.
AI.
There we go.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah. So I was calling to make an appointment for something, and I just noticed the lady, she was just saying how, she was just sympathizing with me, or trying to, I should say, saying, "Oh, I'm sorry that this happened to you," for what I was said, because she asked what I was calling for. So I told her, and she was pretending that she cared. And then I realized that the noise in the background, the typing, she was just typing faster than humanly possible. So then I asked her, "Where are you located?" And that's when she told me that she was a virtual assistant. Up until that point, she sounded so real. Nothing about the call sounded fake. So anyhow, when I started using emotion, and I started asking her why was she pretending to care? And I started using emotion. AI did not know what to do with it. She made a mistake, and then a human had to call me. So anytime I have to call this number to make an appointment, I just use emotions, and AI doesn't know what to do with it. And they get me a human right away. And also with that, I wanted to say something real quick. If you're listening, something that I've noticed, and Aaron, I don't know if you'll agree with me on this, but the way AI is taking over the world and changing so many jobs, and so many people are losing jobs because of it. Your normal jobs, like customer service, things like that could easily be solved, I guess, by AI. There is one job that I feel AI will never be able to replace, and that is sales.
Okay, makes sense.
And the reason why is because most people, it's an emotional impulse when they buy. If it's logic behind it, most people aren't going to buy, and you buy because of the experience. And AI can't give you that. It's all logic. Would you agree?
I do agree. And it's so new, too.
It is. And you know what? And if there's one skill set, whether you realize it or not, that we all do it, is we're all selling all day, every single day, when we're out and about, whether people realize it or not, because how you present yourself. And you know what? How I was telling you that people judge. So I think I've shared with you, I do everything from home. So really, you guys are seeing me with makeup and stuff when I'm doing this podcast, or now very rarely that I have like a full face. Anyhow, I'm noticing when I go out and about without makeup, just because sometimes I'll dress like a bum. Like when it was COVID, I would go out in my pajamas. And I would put on a hat, sunglasses, a mask, and people wouldn't know that it was me. And I would just throw on like a coat if it was cold. And I know how people wouldn't look at me. Now, this is something that I paid attention to more now. If I'm dressed up, how differently people look at me and how they treat me and how the way that they engage, versus if I'm just dressed laid back.
Are you saying that like your senses have been, heightened, I guess, in a way?
Oh, for sure. For sure. Everything has. Like I mentioned, it took losing a piece of me to find all of me. But yes, all my senses, even my sight, even though it's not as good as it used to be, but definitely, for sure. And I was going to say something else. What was it? What we were talking about? Yeah, but sales, that's what I was going to say. AI is, I think that if we as humans get ahead of the game and sharpen those tools, because salespeople can make a lot of money. And again, that's something AI is not going to be able to replace. And also, since we were 12 minutes out, I wanted to tell you, so on Sunday, I'm recording. I have an episode I already recorded. We have some footage, but I haven't released it. I'm not sure if I'm going to release it, how I'm going to release it. But next Tuesday, I am going to have a live guest. His name is Douglas Crawford. He goes by Dino Doug on TikTok. And he is fascinating. All the information and all the trips that he does, just teaching his audience and his listeners about dinosaurs and the different eras and whatnot. And he's a wealth of knowledge. He's a former attorney here in Vegas. And he's also a Vietnam vet. So we're going to discuss his love of dinosaurs, his successful career in law, and his experience as a vet. Because when we have discussions about military life and stuff, it's always interesting. It's different when you're having them with somebody who knows the sacrifice versus somebody who thinks they know.
Very cool.
Yeah, so that's going to be next Tuesdays, by the way, another live episode, and we will be taking questions. And that will be my last live, I believe, at least for a while, unless you guys tell me otherwise, that you'd rather interact with me or whatnot. But that's going to be my guest next Tuesday, and we are going to do it live. And then I'm recording with you over the weekend. And I'll tell you guys, yeah. And probably Sunday is with... That episode will be pre-recorded, and I'll release it the first Tuesday in February. And then the other ones, I'm not sure if I'll record new ones or record the old, or just release to you guys what was recorded
I think you're going to
last
play
month.
it by ear, because I think people, as you grow, people are going to want to talk to you, and they're going to want to interact with you and have questions. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and then I wish people would call and ask me questions, but you know what? Since
It's pretty new. This is pretty new.
it is, and you know what? Since I was talking about the abuse and we have some time, I'm going to give you guys some examples. Because again, I think that if I give it to you guys in a relationship, because we've all dealt with it, whether it's a friend, a partner, a parent, whomever. So if I give you examples, personal examples, that maybe you will be able to relate versus me just reading to you guys off from a piece of paper. We have a caller? Okay. Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Who am I speaking with?
Hi, Nancy. It's Azucena.
Hi, Azucena. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Oh my God, I'm actually listening to your voice.
I know. I'm so sorry. I was going to call last week, but I've been dealing with this nasty cold.
That's okay. I think everybody is. How are you feeling?
I am good. I am good. Well, congratulations on your live.
Thank you. Honestly, it's so cool listening to your voice because you and I have been communicating. So this is my cousin, everyone. We've never actually met.
Hello, cousin.
Hi. Yeah, we've never actually met. Our dads are blood brothers, but we've never met. I'm in California. You're in Vegas. I met your kids, obviously, my cousins, but I haven't met you, which is weird, huh?
I know, and it's cool actually, even just listening to your voice, because I never thought about it until now that I'm listening to your voice. We have a really nice voice. That I'm glad I'm listening to it.
Well, thank you. So do you, cousin.
Thank you.
I thought I'd call in and ask you a question. Well, I know your story, with your background and stuff, but politics-wise, with so many things in the world to choose from, what actually get into situation in your life, or was it something you've always been passionate about?
How I got into politics, you're asking?
Yes.
Okay. It actually happened by accident. So I have to take you back to 2004. And my background is in telecom, by the way. And
yes.
Yeah, I don't know, I can't say the name of the company I was working for then, I can? Okay, so I was working for Sprint at the time, And
Okay.
I was going to college, electrical engineering with an emphasis in telecommunications. That's what I was studying. And I was pregnant with Sophia, your youngest cousin. And
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, I had just given birth to her, and her dad and I actually, I think we were separated. We might have just, no, we might have been divorced. Anyhow, Sprint at the time was in the early 2000s. Vegas, there was hardly anything out here in Vegas. The 215 did not open until 2004, and it only went up to Rainbow. It didn't wrap around the way it does now. So anyhow, in North Las Vegas, Sprint was showcasing the new telecom technology that we were about to showcase, and we were having a party, and they told me they needed to start penetrating the Hispanic community, to start getting more, to start getting more business and whatnot. And I had just been promoted to the business channel, and they actually said to me, get yourself elected. They gave me a list of boards to get myself elected to. And I asked them, well, how do you expect me to do that? And they just said, I don't know, figure it out. So anyhow, I was tasked with inviting at least 1,000 people to this party to showcase the technology at it was like a warehouse or a business development center. So I did, and there ended up being about, I don't know, 1,500 people, maybe even close to 2,000. There was a lot, and there was media, newspapers at the time and whatnot, different outlets. And I remember the director at the time, they asked him to give a speech about what the technology and what we were showcasing, and he did not have a speech prepared. So he said, hey, Nancy, you get out there and you say something. I said, well, I don't have anything prepared either. And he said, yeah, well, I don't care. Get out there and do it. So I did. And when I was done speaking, the owner of one of the newspapers approached me and a few other people. And basically they asked me, have you ever thought about getting involved in politics or possibly running for office? I said, no, I do not. I have never have. And they said, you should. And anyhow, but that's really how it all began and how I started getting involved.
Oh, well, thank you for sharing that story. I've always wondered how you got into politics. And yeah, that's very interesting. Thank you for sharing it with the world.
It was through the nonprofit world, because I don't know if people realize how connected nonprofits are to politics. And they really they bleed into each other, is a good way to put it.
Oh, see, I've heard of that, but yeah, I didn't realize. I did hear that a lot of nonprofit organizations are involved, but I had no idea that was actually true.
Yeah, it is. Not all, but a lot of them do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've learned that just some more than others, but it's I think that if people actually knew, people should be more careful on who you give your money to when it comes to charities, especially nowadays.
Yes. Especially nowadays, yes. Yeah, I haven't had bad experiences with that, but I've heard some horror stories, especially for charities and people even posing that they work, for a charity company.
And hey, Susana, I have a question for you, because I know that you and I have been communicating and whatnot, but is there anything in particular that you're grateful for? Because since you called in, I would love to send you this and write you a note. I don't know if do you keep a grateful journal?
You know what? I haven't been journaling, but I should. I haven't been, but it's something that, I would like to, not just journaling, but just just writing things down. I need to get better at it, I guess.
Do you practice gratitude?
No, I don't say that I do. I mean, I have, but it's something that I guess I need to get better at. But going back to your question, what I'm grateful for, I feel like I'm grateful for life, if that makes sense, because, there's so many things that we take for granted, and I'm just happy, to be able to be breathing, to live just day to day, when it's unfortunate how some people do not. I guess right now I'm just grateful to be alive and enjoying. I've learned to slow down because, I've had my wrist injury. I've noticed to not, well, sorry, how can I put it into words is I've realized that, it's good to slow down, to breathe, to enjoy the little things because, especially after having an injury, it makes you feel grateful for a lot of things. And yeah, right now I'm just grateful to be living and yeah, just enjoying the small things that maybe I've overlooked, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because you haven't been able to do the things you normally would because you're limited with because due
Yes,
to the pain.
yes.
Yeah. No, I understand. Well, I would love to send you the grateful journal. So if you want to start writing, just you could start small, and maybe I'll bring my journal and read a passage because it's interesting when you can go back and read your words and just see
Yeah,
how you've evolved.
exactly. Especially looking at the date that you wrote it, and you're like, wow. But no, most definitely, cousin. I will get it. I'll text you.
Yes, so I can get your address and I'll mail it to you, and I'm going to write you a note.
Sounds good, cousin. Well, have a good rest of your life and love you. I wish you the best of
I
luck.
love you too, and thank you so much for calling.
Bye.
Bye, love you.
Love you.
And I think we
That
are,
was awesome.
yeah. No more callers, right?
No more callers,
Okay.
and we're at the end of the
Okay.
show. Can
Well,
you believe it already?
I know, it's 7 o'clock, but thank you guys if you've tuned in. And next Tuesday, remember, I'm going to have a guest in the studio with me. We're going to have an awesome conversation. I hope that you'll join me. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the follow button on all the different platforms. Can I say them, Erin? Okay, Instagram, Nancy's Riot Podcast, YouTube, Nancy's Riot, and my Facebook page, same thing, Nancy's with apostrophe Riot, and TikTok, Nancy's Riot. So thank you guys, and I'll see you next Tuesday. Have a great night.